Hello, my beloved friends, and welcome back for another movie update. We have some important information about AHSOKA Season 2 and Dave Filoni's film. Rosario Dawson, Hayden Christensen, and the show's creator, Dave Filoni, all spoke with Josh Horowitz on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, and a lot was revealed. For starters, Dave Filoni confirms that Season 2 of the 2023 Disney Plus show is his current priority, and he teased that he's already gotten a head start on his Star Wars film, which is said to bring together the entirety of the Mandoverse era, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, AHSOKA, and don't forget, Skeleton Crew is still set to arrive later in 2024. He said it's all extremely thrilling, and he's already seeing the opening scenes of his film, which he claims he adores. Really fantastic, really interesting things. I deal with really long threads. I will add that I have an opening that I am really interested in. I'm extremely enthusiastic about that image, and I'm happy about the possibility of just achieving it. And we all know he enjoys poetry and is inspired by George Lucas' work. He says he trusts the process, and everything seemed to be going forward well. Given how polarizing the Acolyte has been, this is really great news. I believe we all needed something like this, a break to refuel ourselves. Dave also discusses maturity in Star Wars, emphasizing that although it has its place, it should not be the primary genre driving the brand forward. He compliments Tony Gilroy before delving into a conversation about how our tastes in movies and television change as we age, and he's now talking about George himself. He claims he still calls him from time to time for help, but only on major issues. The most illuminating thing Dave mentioned was that George's ideas, if implemented today, would be shocking. In other words, an even greater departure from what fans anticipate from what they believe Star Wars, George Lucas Star Wars, should be. Because George was always creating and changing what Star Wars represented. The second big update focuses on AHSOKA's second season. This comes from Cinema Blend. Kevin Kiner, the show's composer, said ahead of AHSOKA Season 2 that Dave Filoni has already begun prepping him for the following 8 episodes. This is huge. It coincides with conjecture based on recent actor remarks, recent cancellations, and the fact that pre-production on the second season will begin shortly. Wonderful, wonderful news. Here is what they stated following cameos in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano stars in her own program in 2023. Season 2 has been announced, and we have a terrific update. During Cinema Blend's conversation with the legendary Star Wars composer, who has also worked on the animated shows, they discussed the challenges of scoring for Grand Admiral Thrawn, and then he revealed the secret: the musical foundation for AHSOKA Season 2 has already begun, and Dave Filoni is getting ready to begin. Here's the quote: Dave has put together a playlist of songs to listen to. It's all over the place: John Williams, Max Richter, and all sorts of things. That was really awesome. He hinted at a couple things, and I can't tell you what he said, but based on what he's told me, what he's writing will be a lot of fun. You are aware that he penned all 8 episodes of AHSOKA's first season. If they're already talking about a score, it means AHSOKA Season 2 is about to begin, in addition to The Mandalorian and Grogu. Rosario Dawson recently said in the second season of the program that AHSOKA is a lot more comfortable, much more at peace with herself, and she has made peace with her past. So we're set to witness another iteration of our favorite character. In other Star Wars movie news, insider Jeff Snyder reports that Taika Waititi may skip Avengers 5 and instead helm his unknown, mystery Star Wars movie, which might be a sequel to Shamian Beau's film. And so, my dear friends, the Acolyte. This is a question I often hear: which known characters, mostly from George Lucas Star Wars, but also from the sequel trilogy, are alive during the Acolyte? And you may be thinking, sequel trilogy? That's like 150 years later. But we've already discussed Jedi and Sith characters. But what about some more recognizable faces? We begin with Markata, the Pirate Queen of Self, an unknown and enigmatic Force-adjacent race capable of living for an extremely long period. The Hewick databank describes her as insightful and intelligent during the events of the Acolyte, which occurred 100 years before the Phantom Menace. Markata isn't a Jedi, but she does possess the Force. She has earned the respect of scoundrels, smugglers, and Jedi throughout the course of her lengthy existence, based on the mid-rim planet of Takodana, as shown in The Force Awakens. Markata invites everyone to her castle, where she supervises the staff with Dexter Jeter, and there's our next familiar face. You may recall Dex from episode II Attack of the Clones, when he served Obi-Wan in Cocoa Town at Dex's diner. Dex was a superb hyperspace prospector, even better storyteller, antiquities expert, and character evaluator. Dex is keenly aware of his environment. Then there are more implausible figures like as Jabba the Hutt. Jabba was about 600 when he died in Return of the Jedi, and 500 when the Acolyte appears. Hutts might last 1,000 years. Persona, the proprietor of Kira's Pocky shop, has previously discussed smuggling for the Hutts. It's an improbable scenario, but you never know. Osha's Nedian shipmate mentioned Nadar, the smuggler's moon in Hutt space, as well as the infamous moon of Nalata, the Hutts' home planet. We saw several Hutts in Boba Fett's book, therefore it's not impossible for the Acolyte. And then there's Chewbacca, who is almost 200 years old by the time of A New Hope. There is no genuine reason to anticipate Chewie to appear in a program like this, given that there is already one Wookiee who is a Jedi Chewie was not. We don't know whether Kakua and Chewie have any connection. The planet Kukra is on his Kofa, but if we get to Kashyyyk, who knows? There has been some conjecture that we could see some of the youngsters from Young Jedi Adventures, but apart from Nubs, this is exceedingly improbable. Young Jedi Adventures takes set 100 years before the Acolyte. Therefore, I don't believe the human and Pantoran characters are still living, but we don't know how long Nub's species survives. He's a Piwai. Do they live as long as the Wookiees? Nobody is aware, and the character you've been waiting for, Professor Huyang from the AHSOKA series. It would be fantastic and a no-brainer to place him in the Acolyte program, teaching younglings how to build their own lightsabers. Huyang was created 25,000 years ago for generations. He served the Jedi Order as an architect droid, aiding younglings in the construction of their own weapons, as well as other Jedi on missions, particularly those involving kyber crystals. If they succeed, it will be another easy victory. But they are only a few of the prominent characters from past Star Wars films that you may not have realized existed during the Acolyte period. Please share your ideas in the comments section below, people. What do you think? Are you interested in seeing any of these? Please let me know if you loved this one by giving me a big large thumbs up, subscribing if you're new, and seeing you in the next video.